So welcome everyone to my talk. Today we'll be talking about ways to listen to your users, so various feedback techniques, but most importantly about A/B testing. My name is Alicja Ogonowska. I work as a senior mobile engineer at OLX, and I've been working as a mobile app developer for over 8 years now. I started as a native Android developer, but then I moved to Flutter and I never regretted the change. I live in Gliwice in Poland, and I am also a member of Flutteristas community. So make sure to check out our booth that is right next to the Flutter one, and also our panel tomorrow. So enough about me, let's jump straight to the point. Have you ever wondered, why does user feedback actually matter? Sorry to start with such a Captain Obvious question, but I had to start the presentation somehow. So basically, users are the heart of every app. Without users, our apps are actually useless, unless you are just writing an app just for you to keep track of stuff in your fridge. But you can make a coolest app on earth, but if nobody is going to use it, you can hardly call it a success. So as developers, we should be focused on our user needs, and we should listen to them and also take their feedback into consideration. So contrary to what your CEO may think. So time to read. Yeah, I had this situation in the past where we had users posting reviews asking for one particular feature that was actually obvious for this kind of app. But we instead were focused on stuff like changing icon or adding something that the user didn't really want it. But yeah, that's a story for a different presentation. So first, I'm going to show you some quick options to actually get the user feedback, so your apps can actually be pleasant for them. And the easiest and also like most obvious one is store reviews, because sometimes we don't even have to ask, and users just leave the reviews without any prompt for us. But now let's think for a second. How often are you actually reviewing the apps? I can speak for myself. I usually leave a 1-star review and a rant when something is not working. But you can outsmart those Alicias using your app, and you can actually ask your users in their happy moments. And you can use, for example, in-app review package for that. So it uses native API under the hood. So it also limits the usage of the API. So you won't spam your user too often. Even if you call this method in the code, it may not be shown. And it is for you to decide where to show it. You can put that option, for example, somewhere in the settings so that it's always available for the user, or you can just automatically trigger that in a happy moment. So user just wants something in your game, they purchased a product, they are happy, they are more likely to give you a 5-star review. Alternatively, the package also offers the option to open the store listing, and this always works, and the user just decide what to do there. But just remember to regularly monitor them and answer the reviews, because this is where a user's frustration usually go to. So if your PO is wondering, what new feature we could do, you can always say, let's just check what the users are asking for. Another quick feedback form that you can use is interaction-based service. So usually it's a very quick and unobtrusive way of getting your users' feedback. And it usually involves a very simple question that can be answered with just one word, or even ideally an emoji. And in here, you can have an example from Krakow Airport, where you can rate your toilet experience. But I have some other ideas for you, more useful for mobile apps. For example, you can ask the user how was their purchase experience at your order confirmation screen, or if the support was helpful at the end of the support chat, or if the tutorial that they just finished during the onboarding was actually helpful or made them fall asleep. Another cool thing that you could use in your app is to make use of power user service. So if you are wondering who are power users, those are the users that use your app most extensively. They really like digging through your app. They use it maybe even every day. So their feedback is invaluable because this is who is using your app the most. So how to identify them? Unfortunately, this requires some work on your side, maybe not even through your analytics tools, but rather even your just database. So you should query for the users that use your app most. So depending on the type of your app that you have, look for users who completed most of the levels, who made the most amount of purchases, or has the longest streak of using the app. And then you should reach out to them. So you can do that via a personalized email or even an in-app message. And usually this should prompt them to an external form, because for those users, you can ask them more detailed questions and actually get their detailed feedback. But just remember that you should also offer some kind of incentives for them, because they are giving you their time. So at least give them a discount or early access to some new features to make them feel seen and visible. Another cool tool that I would like to tell you about, and I'm sure you're gonna love it, is called WireDash. And it has three most important features. It's an in-app feedback tool, private analytics, and a promoter score survey. And the best part, it's written for Flutter, in Flutter, by Flutter developers. And I'm sure someone is here on the audience, but I cannot spot them right now, but they told me they will be here, so maybe you can catch them later. And what I really liked about them is they offer you a free tier up to 100,000 devices per month that can use your app for free. And the setup literally takes 3 minutes. And with those 3 minutes, I also counted setting up the environment variable to set up the project ID and secret. So all you have to do is wrap your application with the WireDash widget, and then to show the feedback form, you just have to call WireDash of context show, and that's it. And I will show you how it looks like in action. So I created a super simple e-commerce app. I'm not sure if I can even call it e-commerce, but it has a list of products that you can purchase. And it's not loading, I think. Yeah, so sorry, I think I have to click it on here. Yeah, I always try not to use videos in my presentation, but this time I did, and now I know why. So I can visualize that for you, and later I'll share the slides and it will all be visible there. So basically, when you click on the back button it's covered by the message about the video, so sorry about that. Basically, your app goes a bit down, and at the top you see the feedback form, where you can say any feedback that you want, whether something is wrong or something is right, and you want to say that. You can doodle on the screenshot automatically, and then you can just send it, and that's it, and your app goes back up, and your user never left the app. It's very unobtrusive and so quick to set up. And if you are worried that the user may screenshot something that is confidential, WireDash also provides a very useful widget. If you wrap something in the confidential, then on the screenshot, it will be already not visible. And yeah, then later you have a very cool dashboard where you get all the invaluable feedback, like something's broken, something is wrong, and you get some user details and also the feedback and screenshot that they provided. And another nice thing is the Net Promoter Score survey. So what is Net Promoter Score? It's a way to measure whether your users are likely to recommend the app to their friends or their family. So what you can do here also very easily with just a few lines of code, you display such a survey, and it works in a very similar way as the feedback form. So basically your app goes a bit down, and Net Promoter Score survey is more prominent. And it's just a short question, very similar to the emoji one, where it asks how likely are you to recommend the app to your friends. And what is also cool with using WireDash is that it takes care of probably showing this NPS survey because you don't want to make the user annoyed with it. So you set up how often it should be displayed, what is the initial delay, minimum interval, and stuff like that. But all those methods required actually asking your user for feedback and what do they want. But there is also a very cool option to get to know the users and what they prefer without actually asking them. And this technique is called A/B testing. So what is actually A/B testing? A/B testing is a technique where you expose part of your users to one version of the application or a feature, and the other group sees a different one. So on this example that I drew on my own, so please appreciate my design skills because I couldn't find any chart that I liked. So let's imagine you have your users and you decide that 50% of them will see the old version of the main screen. So it's called the baseline. And then the other ones will see a redesigned, for example, main page that will be mostly blue and not, that will have blue on the top. And you can do that using a remote value coming from somewhere. I'll talk about it in a moment. So at the same time, you also measure your analytics. So for example, some kind of conversion that you are interested in. And based on that, you see which variant performs better, and you are able to automatically roll it out to all users without making a new release. So in this case, the variant A baseline is the winner, and later all the users will see that. And you may be thinking, okay, but doesn't it double the work? Because anyway, I have to implement 2 versions of the feature, ship it. So like the code is already doubled. In a way, yes, but you have to think of it as an investment because, of course, there is a short-term effort involved, but it results in long-term gains. So basically, you are able to make informed decisions because you don't have to rely on your guesswork or assumptions, which version of the app will perform better. You can just say, okay, so let's try it out. And you are able to test it on just some part of your users. So in case your new cool idea that will for sure change the app for better turn out to be actually not an improvement, you'll be able, to minimize the damage. And also, usually A/B tests are aimed to result in higher conversion rates because, as I said, you are measuring some conversion events and you are looking for a version of your application that perform best. So now imagine trying out different version of a feature or how the app looks or, I don't know, some options on the main screen without A/B testing. Anyway, you have to implement 2 versions, but then you also have to release them twice. So first you implement and release version 1, collect analytics, analyze the results. Okay, this performed like this. Then you release the other version. You have to wait for all the users to get it, analyze the results. And if it turns out that maybe the first variant was better, you have to make a 3rd release and wait till all the users are back to this version. And with A/B testing, you can do that remotely. So after you select the winner, you just hit a button somewhere and then all the users are updated with the better code. So also it minimizes the risk of poor changes because not only your change might perform worse, let's imagine that one of the changes introduces a bug to your application. So in such a situation, like you don't care about the test anymore. You just roll out the safe variant to everyone, and at least the damage was not that big. And before we move forward, I wanted to mention also some statistical foundations of A/B testing, because there will be some words that will be appearing from time to time. And don't worry if you weren't a fan of statistics at the university. I for sure weren't, so this is actually the only slide where I have speaker notes. But yeah, it's good to at least know the statistical terms. So one thing that will be appearing a lot is statistical significance. So this is to decide whether the difference between variant A and B is likely due to a chance or if it's real. So for example, maybe you did some changes and one version actually has a better conversion rate, but statistics will tell you, yeah, you were just lucky. If you will run the same test on a bigger group or for a longer period of time, it is likely to change anyway. And typically we aim for a significance level of 0.05, meaning there is a 5% chance the results are due to random variation. Then the other important term is confidence level. So this complements the statistical significance. And a 95% confidence level means that we are 95% sure that the results are not due to a chance, because we don't want to take chances. We want to make data-driven decisions. And then there is a p-value. So again, it tells you how likely it is that your A/B test results are due to a random variation and not an effect of your true changes. And the lower the p-value, the better. So usually we want it to be less than the statistical significance to consider the results statistically significant. And then we have sample size. So this is the number of users in each group that we should have to detect a meaningful difference. So there are also online calculators that help you with defining that. But to be honest, if you have a smaller app, like, don't hesitate to test on all users. And also power is the probability of detecting a difference if there is one. And usually we aim for 80% power. Now I will show you how you can approach designing an A/B test. And there are 4 main steps. Of course, there are more steps, but I squeezed it to 4 so that it fits nicely on the slides. But first you need to define your goal. And this goal has to be specific and measurable. So you cannot just say, oh, I want my app to be better, or I want my app to be more liked by the users, because how you're going to measure that. But you can say, I want more users to finish onboarding, or I want more users to purchase a product. And this is the goal that you can later measure using your analytics. And after that, you can hypothesize the change. So this is where you brainstorm and come up with ideas. What change could actually make that goal become reality? So for example, if you want more users to sign up, maybe a shorter sign-up form will be more pleasant for them to finish, or a more prominent call to action button will grab their attention more. And after that, you create the variant. So you actually implement the 2 versions of the app, or the feature in your app, and you split your audience. And today I will be talking about using external tools for that, but the code will be pretty generic. So of course you could do that on your own. Just keep in mind that then you also have to take care of always assigning the user randomly and making sure that they are assigned to the right group all the time. And then when it comes to splitting the audience, I'll be doing that in the tool that I will show you in a moment. And after that, you need to sit back, relax a bit, and collect and analyze data, because there is no rushing in A/B testing. You have to wait for the data to be able to use it. And after that, you can roll out the winner and continue the process, because it should be a continuous process. There is always something to improve. The results can always be better. So you can start thinking about your next experiment. And now I will show you a technical example. So my goal would be to increase the number of purchases in the app. So I will be using the same e-commerce app that I couldn't show the video of. And my hypothesis is that using a more eye-catching color of the Add to Cart button will lead to more purchases. And for the simplicity reason, for me, Add to Cart equals purchase. And this is how the baseline looked like. So I just had the button of the primary color of my team, and I want to test out if the bright yellow color will perform better. And in the code, I will just have a simple switch. So in one case, I'll be showing the orange color, and in the other color, in the other variant, the color that I had before. And you can see that I'm deciding based on some state, config, use accent, color, CTA. So basically, I'll be using a qubit for that. So this is where the state comes from. And in a moment, I will show you the config. So I created a simple class that can hold all the, define all experiments. So it's called AB experiment. And later, based on the type, I will have a Boolean experiment, string experiment, depending on the value that I want to change. And then I created a simple class that can hold all the experiments that I'm currently running in the application, just for convenience, so that I am able to quickly get the value wherever I need it to. And also in here, I'm defining the key of the remote value that I'll be fetching from somewhere. And in the qubit is just as simple as loading the experiment values from repository, where in fact the repo is just, like a middleware calling the remote value data source. And to be honest, until this point, the code is very generic. So you can also have just like your mock remote value data source and test using that so that it's quicker for you. And the same I have for analytics, because I'll be trying out different tools. So usually you can log a custom event, and usually events like purchase or sign up are available in all analytics tools. So as the first example, I'll be using Firebase A/B testing, which under the hood uses remote config and Google Analytics, because it's a free tool. Most apps already use Firebase, so it's easy to use that, and also easy to advocate for that. And in here, the remote value data source is just a wrapper to get values from remote config. So if you've never used that, you have to fetch all of them and activate them. And after that, you can just read the values from them by key. And for analytics, this is just plain Firebase Analytics, where you log your events. And in Firebase dashboard, there is the A/B test tab, where you can create your experiments. So you need to give the experiment's name, and you can also add a description. Then you can target your apps. So as you can see here, it will be divided between Android and iOS. And fun, or maybe not so fun fact, it's not available on web, even though remote config is available on web, but you cannot select a web project in here. So that's a shame, but well, it is what it is. And you can also have some other ways to target your users. For example, you can have an activation event. So not all of the users will be immediately eligible for this experiment, but maybe they first have to trigger a specific event, I don't know, like finish onboarding or purchase at least one product, something like that. And also you can target different versions, languages. So there is some configuration to be done here. And later you need to specify what do you want to actually test. And you can create the remote config value directly in here in the A/B testing tab, but then it only lets you to use string values. So you can better go to the remote config tab first and create your remote value there, because in here you have options to choose a string, number, Boolean, or even a JSON. And then you decide how the values should be distributed among the users. So in here, I'll go for simplicity. So half of the users will see one variant and the other half the second variant. And one convenient thing is you can add your Firebase push notification token. So that is not super convenient, but it's still in the Firebase world, to be able to set a value for device. So it's useful for testing, because sometimes you want to be 100% sure which test variant did you receive without actually checking the code. And now I'll show you how the dashboard looks like. So this is how the dashboard looks like for an app that I created for the stock. And I was the only one clicking it, and Firebase couldn't even calculate p-value. So it's not very useful. I wasn't able to collect any meaningful data. And I also have an example from a real world app where the test is still running. And even though the 2,000 users were involved, the results are still not statistically significant. So the test is still ongoing. But I was able to get a result from a test that I was part of some time ago, and my previous manager was so nice to share it with me. So actually, this is how it looks like when you get a result. So you see which variant performed better based on the condition that you set up there, and you have the option to roll out this variant immediately to all users. So if you see which one is better, one click, and then all the users will be automatically updated. So the next time they will open the app, they will see the better version, and you will earn more money, hopefully. And also what is important and useful, whenever a user is part of the experiment, a custom user property called Firebase experiment and number of the experiment is assigned to those users. And you can get the number of the experiment from the URL of that experiment page. So that's not super convenient, but you can get that. And why am I mentioning that? Because I think that while Firebase is easy to use, easy to integrate, it's free, their dashboard and the results are not, they are fine for simple tests, but they are quite limited. So if you will really dig deeper into A/B testing, you will surely encounter cases that you are not able to get the results from the dashboard. For example, in here, my event that I want to track is @event, which is fine, but I have different types of events, and maybe I am just interested in event type, I don't know, concert, and not shopping. Okay, I'm just making that up. So this is not possible. So I could create custom events like @event shopping, but come on, this is not how you should make your analytics. So you can use BigQuery for that. And then using the Firebase experiment user property is useful because you can actually write a custom query to get all the details that you want. But if you ever tried writing BigQuery queries, well, they are not so fun to work with, at least for me. So actually right now the documentation is better than the last time I had to do it. So if you Google Firebase A/B testing BigQuery, you actually have examples of those queries on the Firebase docs. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't there when I had to do it. And also BigQuery is not free, so you may end up anyway looking for a paid solution. And one of the solutions that I tried out and it worked pretty nicely is PostHoc, because it's also not very expensive and it offers you a free tier of 1 million feature flag requests per month, I think. So that's pretty nice. And after that, the pricing is quite fair. So it also have, the main features are analytics and feature flags, and this is related to A/B testing. So I already had all my code ready. All I had to do is inject a different class for the remote value data source. So this is just the way how you get the feature flag from PostHoc. They are all stored as strings. So if I want to keep on using the booleans, I have to do that on my own, but that is still fine. And analytics, yeah, it looks just the same. So it just uses capture instead of log event. So if you implement that once generically, then you shouldn't have any problems with switching to a different provider later. And how it looks like when it comes to setting up the experiment. So again, you have to prepare the name, you have to define the feature flag key that will be storing the value that you want to A/B test. And then you can select what will be the value for different variants. And in here, you already have a more complex way to measure your goals. So for example, in here, you can set up a conversion funnel. So not only track one event, but create a funnel that reflects your business case more in a better way. Or you can just set up a goal criteria for just one event, but you can still target it and add some other metrics as well. So just this is already more advanced than in Firebase A/B testing. And what I also liked about PostHawk as a first-time user is that everywhere they provided code snippets for different languages, Flutter as well. So if you are not familiar with that, how to do that, on the page where you just configured your A/B test, you are able to just copy the code and see, I have to get the feature flag and compare it with the value that I have for this variant, and then decide based on that. Yeah, in here, like you could see, again, it was just my test. So this is the problem with A/B testing, because if you want to do it like just on your own, then you will not get results. So this is for actual users to check it. And I also wanted to mention some other tools, because if you really want to get like detailed reports without writing your own queries, there are some tools, but they are also paid tools. So for example, Optimizely and Amplitude, both of them, when it comes to A/B testing, don't even provide you a way to test it, because when you want to do it, you get a screen contact sales. So yeah, you can also use Unleash and Mixpanel for analytics. So Unleash offers you a free tier when you self-host Unleash. So this is a tool for, again, feature flags and A/B testing. But I am happy to have one announcement here. So a little bird called Pascal from Wiredash told me that Wiredash will be releasing A/B testing feature. So I cannot wait to see it, because honestly, I think that there is still room for improvement, especially when it comes to dashboards and analytics part. So as I mentioned, they already have analytics. So yeah, if you just did that like a week ago, the slides could have been totally different. But yeah, I think it's a nice opportunity for everyone to try it out. And after hearing all that, you may be thinking, okay, but in my organization, like, I don't even decide what features we are working on. So not to mention A/B testing. So what can I do about it? So I have some advices for all of you. If you are an indie dev, then you are the captain of your own ship. So what is stopping you from trying it out? Just start from tomorrow. But if you are working for a larger organization, then you can start with educating your team and your managers, because maybe they don't even know that there is such possibility. So let them know of the benefits, and also help them design the test and conduct the test. And just imagine that afterwards you can present the results maybe to the whole company, that by making this test and making this small change, we increased our conversion rate by 2%. And we can call ourselves a data-driven company, and managers love that. So shine bright and, use the buzzwords. Not only AI is the buzzword, data-driven is also a nice one. And I would like to share some best practices with you. So first of all, test one variable at a time, because if you perform multiple tests, or in one test you test different things, then honestly, the results will be blurry, and you won't be able to tell what caused the change for sure. Also ensure a large enough sample size, because as I said, if it will be just you and your team testing, then you won't get to the statistical significance. So if your app is not used by hundreds of thousands of users, don't hesitate to run the tests on all of them and splitting the audience in half. And also leave a backdoor for testing, because as I mentioned, Firebase has this option to set up the test variant based on the device ID. But okay, it's fine for developers to get the ID for console logs, but for managers, not so good idea. Also reinstalling the app until you get the right variant. also not a good one. So what you could do if your app has like a debug menu or something like that, it's good to add a way to override the test variant. Or at least what you could do is somewhere in the user settings or also in the debug menu, add an option to actually display all the test experiment variants that your user is currently using. Because then when your CEO will come to you and say, hey, Alicia, why I don't see the add to cart button anymore? Then you can say, oh, maybe you're in the group that doesn't have it because we are testing it out. So it's useful to have an option to know that. And be patient because, yeah, this takes time. It's not a sprint, it's a long-term marathon. So be patient and wait for the results. And also you can target specific versions of the app, especially if you are testing a remote value that you already had before, because you may have users that already have it, but don't have the new code that will actually do stuff differently. So you don't want them to become part of the experiment and blur out your data. And also analyze and repeat, because it's a continuous process. So don't give up if your first test doesn't result in 100% change. And before we end, I have also some other ideas what you can A/B test apart from the features in your app. So actually in Firebase, you can also A/B test push notifications and in-app messages. So for example, if you have a campaign, you can test a different version of the message to see which one performs better. And this example is from Firebase, but all the other marketing tools that I used also have it because it's pretty obvious. So you can let your marketing team know of such possibility. And also if you use tools like RevenueCat for in-app payments or subscriptions, they also have this option to A/B test your pricing options. So you can also use that, and who knows, maybe using higher prices will actually result in more purchases, because, you know, if something is expensive, then it's for sure good, then maybe users will buy more. And also the stores, so Google Play Store and App Store lets you run A/B testing on listings. So you can check maybe a different set of screenshots performs better, or a different app name, or different description. And thank you for your attention. I won't say A/B test everything, but maybe A/B test something and try it out. Also, you can catch me on any social media platform. I usually use my name and my surname. And this QR code leads you to a very short survey. All you have to do is rate my talk. So it can be a 5-star or a 1-star with a rant. And there are also 2 optional fields to provide feedback. And afterward, it will bring you to my GitHub page where I have the code. But yeah, you can also find this GitHub later. And last announcement, I have some Polish sweets. I'm pretty sure there are so many people here because I wrote that on Twitter. They're a bit wet because I had a water bottle accident in my package, but it's just water. So feel free to grab them. And last, I just want to take a picture with you because I have this also in my speaker notes because I always wanted to do that, but I'm always so stressed at the end that I forget. So thanks a lot for being here.